Good morning, everyone. My name is Chloe Owens, and today I'm going to be sharing a bit about U.S. military and how women have impacted in the past and now. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a student here at SCC. I'm in a communications class, and this is a project for my communications class. And I am also a fiance to a soldier, and I am an aunt to an amazing 2-year-old boy, and I am a sergeant in the United States Army. And I've been in the service for 5 years now. I have about 3 years of active, 2 years of reserve, and I really enjoy it. So I want to share this speech because it's very relevant to my life, and it is a very important topic that needs to be discussed today as women are serving now in combat roles. So a couple things I want to start with is just some fun facts about the defenses of America. And the first thing is that the DoD is the largest employer in the United States. They have quite a bit of employees, and they have about 0.4 of our population that serves just in active duty military portion of the Department of Defense. 31 of our presidents have been in the military, and we own 30 million acres of land worldwide. And that's in bases all over the place. I mean, everywhere. And even in Washington here, we have a base that takes up like 3 cities, like 4 different zip codes and stuff like that. So it's a pretty large organization, but also we are the largest energy consumer in the United States as well. So that is very important to know. I want to set the tone for my speech by giving a short story about Deborah Sampson, who was a woman who was raised in the 1700s, and she disguised herself as a man and served her country. And not only did she prove that to herself she could do it, she proved to the women who found out later that she did this that they can do it as well. You can serve along men and make just as big of an impact, and you not even be treated differently, because obviously she was pretending to be a man. She wasn't treated any differently. So there was no biases when she was going through her service in the American Revolution. She was the first woman to get pension during the American Revolution. So that's really outstanding to me. It's relevant because that not only set the tone for this, it sets the tone for all women in the military. So moving on, I want to talk about the 3 most important things in my speech today. Is just basically how women entered, how they changed the game, and how they have been impacted themselves as a woman in the military. I'm just going to say that it changes you not only as a man, but there's specific things about being a woman in the military too that I'm going to talk about real quick. So the first couple women that were American military heroes were Deborah Sampson, Sarah Edmonds, which did the same thing 100 years later as Deborah, and then Cathay Williams, which was the first African-American woman to be in the American military, which is really awesome because there was segregation between women in the military and there was segregation between African Americans and just any job. And she managed to make it into the military as the first African American woman. So I wanted to share that because that's a very important aspect. Now we obviously have hundreds of African American, we have hundreds of Latino women, we have hundreds and hundreds of white women. Like, it's pretty amazing how big of an impact women have made. So in the late 1700s, obviously, women were basically nurses, cooks, and laundresses. Very few of them were eligible for admin and logistics. They were supporting the men who were doing all the dirty work. And as much as the dirty work is important, who's gonna pay you? You know, who's gonna get the cargo to you when you're overseas and you need equipment and you need anything really. So they made such an impact that in the mid-1900s, President Truman signed a bill that was the Women's Armed Service Integration Act of 1948, and that allowed women to be in the military as basically as permanent party. They could get pension, they could serve alongside the men. 33,000 women actually joined in that time, and they were still support staff, but now we get to 2016, right? And now women are allowed to serve in these combat roles. And over 160 women have been killed in action, and more have seen combat alone. They haven't been killed, but only about 160, probably more now, have been killed in action. And there are 2 military heroes that I want to talk about who in the past 10 years have been very important to the women military field. So Sergeant Leanne Hester, she got a Silver Star because when she was she was ambushed. Her and her team were ambushed, and she managed to get as many people out safely of the situation, and so she got a Silver Star. And then Lieutenant Ashley White was actually killed in Afghanistan in action when her assault force was, they triggered an IED. So basically, these women are true American heroes, and a lot of people make the argument that women shouldn't serve in combat, but you can actually see by just doing your history homework that women have made just as an impact, and in other areas too. So real quick, I want to talk about sexual harassment, which is a huge issue in the military, because this is the part where I come to how they've been impacted. So a big thing about women in the military is that we're impacted in a lot different way because we see through female eyes. And I know that might sound a little controversial, but as a woman in the military and my story, I feel as though we have a different perspective on things, and we bring a lot of other things to the table. So sexual harassment has been a huge issue in the armed forces, and that's very relevant today. We're still combating it every day. It is an insider threat, and it needs to be taken care of. A lot of men are saying that women shouldn't be serving in combat because of the sexual harassment. Well, if you can't keep your hands to yourself, you're not going to keep your hands to yourself with men either, and that is happening today as well. So that's a huge issue that's prevalent, especially with women in the military. And to finalize this speech, personally for me, with my story in the military, I think that I bring to the table this sense of caring that a lot of the harsh men in my unit don't give off, and a lot of people have come up to me and have asked me for advice, have asked me for help, and that is an important thing for me because sometimes you just need someone to talk to. And not only do women bring the strength and the capability and the mental capacity to control large units and do amazing things, they can be an emotional help to anyone. So especially men who feel like they can go talk to me about things. And that was really humbling experience for me, being in a unit that was male dominant. I was the only female in my unit for a couple years, just 2 years, and it's been a life-changing experience. So thank you for letting me take your time to end the speech. I'm gonna just say a quote that President Obama said a couple years ago when he was in office, which was, "Today, every American can be proud that our mothers, our wives, and our sisters and daughters are playing a role in protecting the country that we love." And that's a really amazing quote. Thank you, President Obama. And thank you for your time for listening to me today, and I hope that I helped inform you on the history of stuff. So thank you.